joined by the incomparable, the knowledgeable, the Toastmaster herself, Linda Clarke-Chapman. And so we're just going to have a conversation, and I hope that you will enjoy. But as we're preparing once again, please share. We want to make sure that this word, that this message gets out, and that we can share with our family, with our friends, and all that we come in contact with. This will also be on replay here at the Promise Foundation, online here on Facebook. We'll also put it on our YouTube channel and our website. But we want to make sure that people can connect right now in real time. So without further ado, we will begin the Promise Inspired Live, the mentoring edition. My name is Oscar Banks, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Promise Foundation International. And I'm excited to be a part of this conversation because mentoring for me was my lifeline. Growing up in Indianapolis, Indiana, it was easy to get pulled into different directions. But I'm glad that my mother put me in places where there were men, there were women who could inspire me to be better, to be my best self, and not settle with just following the crowd. And so tonight's conversation, we're going to dive into a bit about that. But first, let's touch base with our guest who also participates in the leadership of the Promise Foundation, and really is helping us to form an even more empowering organization. Without further ado, this is Linda Clarke-Chapman. So Linda, just welcome to the Promise Inspired Live as we are diving in today.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, doing good. You know, we're making it through this COVID time, striving to keep our sanity as we are in this new season of life that many of us have never been a part of before. I always tell our folks, unless you are over 120 years old, you have no idea what's happening right now in this pandemic. And so we're all hitting and missing, and hopefully making some goals. But how's life been for you in this COVID season?
I think it's the way that you approach it. I'd say that last year around this time, I was pretty scared. I seconded myself at home once I was allowed to work from home. And I think after 3 months, a friend said, "You've got to get out of the house." And she dragged me out on my birthday in May and took me to a park. And I have slowly become accustomed to going out and just being careful. So I'm doing okay, and I'm trying to help some others who are struggling with the stress and various other consequences of COVID.
Yeah. So I know what people are thinking. Some people here who are watching this, who are gathered, who will listen to this at a later time. They may be acquainted with me because they may be family, they may be friends, they may have heard me preach at church or do something around mentoring, around faith, but I'm not sure if they know who Linda Clarke-Chapman is, and so that's my question. My question is, who is Linda Clarke-Chapman? And you can make that if you could say who you are in a paragraph and a half, what would you say?
That's very specific, a paragraph and a half. I almost think, without coming over negative, that the easier question would be, who isn't Linda Clarke-Chapman.
Mm.
You see, my late father called me a Linda of all trades and a wannabe master of all. And I'll share why. I guess I'm best known professionally as a project manager, but I am a certified group fitness instructor, a personal trainer, a nutrition coach, John Maxwell certified life coach, speaker, and trainer, a realtor. You spoke about Toastmasters. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster with Toastmasters International. I just get involved with a lot of stuff. For fun, I play the piano and the flute, and after failing art in high school, I'm now an avid painter, believe it or not. And
Wow. Yeah.
ballroom dancing is like my favorite thing to do. Of course, COVID impacted that, but it was taking me to the poorhouse anyway. So it may have been a good thing that COVID came along at that time. If I were to sum myself up, though, I would say that Aristotle was right when he said that at the intersection of where your gifts, talents, and abilities meet a human need, therein you discover your purpose. So I'm passionate about learning, and helping others resonates with almost everything I do. So if you think about it, personal trainer, nutrition coach, fitness instructor, project manager, these are all things that help people, and I enjoy doing all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so those are passions and purposes that first you discovered in yourself.
Correct.
And then you want to see other people discover the best parts of themselves. That's awesome.
And of course, each of them gives me the opportunity to do some type of mentoring. I meet a lot of people, and they share things. And if I have been that way before and have knowledge to share, we strike up what could then be termed a mentoring relationship.
Yeah, that's cool. Now you mentioned John Maxwell's training, which is amazing. John Maxwell, to me, I think when it comes to leadership, is probably the gold standard. I think churches, businesses, nonprofits, everybody has touched something that John Maxwell has written, has said. And so we talk about that. And I know that he normally talks more about coaching. And tonight we're talking about mentoring. So where would you say that coaching and mentoring, where do they intersect? And then where would you say, mentoring takes it to this step and coaching takes it to this step? Where they go, I guess where they go in separate directions.
They could. Some people may need a coach, others may need a mentor. If you think about it this way, that coaching is more performance-based. So you think of your athlete, your footballer, your baseballer, a musician. They have a goal. They're preparing for a concert, or they're preparing for a big match. A coach will give them the steps or tell them what they need to do. What do you need to do to reach this specific goal by this time? That's your coach. Whereas a mentor, I want you to think of that as more development focused. So a person wants to, over a longer period of time, accomplish a number of things. And because of the mentor's experience doing some of those things, they are able to share that, not telling the individual what to do, but just listening to where they want to be and helping them determine what steps they should take. You don't tell them what to do. A coach will tell you what to do. I think a mentor works with you to get where you need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that's why we do what we do here at the Promise Foundation is that we want to get people where they want to be, where they aspire to be. Just like if you're coaching or mentoring somebody who is they're on a health journey, and maybe their goal is not to win a fitness competition. Their goal is to bring their blood pressure down. Their goal is to get at a healthy, sustainable, maintainable weight. And so you're trying to get them on a process, on a journey that they can then live out on their own without your needing of coaching and telling them, hey, get up, let's go, let's move it. But you're trying to help them to get into their own self-motivation so that they can live out that life and hopefully do as you've done, which is turn around and then pay it forward by helping somebody else out. Yeah,
Exactly.
and so
And I've seen
take
that a lot of times happen where
yeah, yeah,
a mentee ultimately becomes a mentor.
right. Yeah, and that's when you've really done your job. Like that's
Exactly.
that's you. I'm not going to say that you're Jesus, but but you're creating disciples who then go out and create disciples, and then go out and
Exactly.
create disciples, and that's inspiring. I want to take a quick commercial break to invite you, if you're listening, if you're watching, you can go to thepromiseinspired.org, click on the donate now button, or just search around and see who we are, because the whole point of what we're talking about tonight is to recognize that mentorship is important, to recognize that what we're doing and what we're going to be providing as a service as the Promise Foundation International is exactly what we're talking about, which is helping people to really take their lives on the journey that they desire, and for us to pull out the best parts of them. And the way that we know we can do that is through mentoring. And so we're talking about mentoring young people. We're looking at young people between the ages of 14 and 18 who are preparing to go into the areas of STEM, science, technology, math, and education, and who will become the change agents in this next generation, this upcoming generation. And so when you look back at your upbringing as you were coming up, what were some of the qualities of mentors who inspired you, who empowered you to become what we now see as Linda Clarke-Chapman?
I am today because of, I would say, accidental mentors, as well as some formal mentors who showed up along the way.
Right.
I'm originally from Barbados and had several mentors there, but didn't recognize them as such, I think, until I started to study mentorship formally. Now,
Yeah.
I'm able to recognize someone who would be a good mentor and select that person to be a mentor. Yeah. So I've had accidental and formal mentors along the way. And I'd say in each case, and I'll use a quote from John Maxwell, a mentor is a person who knows the way, shows the way, and will go the way. I wasn't always a great student in school, so my first year at university was mostly fun. And one of my professors caught on to it. He realized that I didn't have to come to class to get A's on his exams. In fact, I didn't go to class and I got A's on his exams. So he pulled me into his office one day and he said, "You're a brilliant girl, but you're really playing around, and he used some colorful language at that point, and I need you to dial in, settle down, and you'll get a first class honors degree. He took me under his wing. Professor Stuart Bishop was his name. And he gave me projects to work on to keep me busy, and kept encouraging me and giving me tips and techniques. His specialty was systems analysis and design, and that's exactly what I ended up majoring in, and did my best work and became a systems analyst right after college. Were it not for him, I might not be where I am today. Another one that I can remember is a senior partner at Ernst & Young who recognized me when I was in my master's program at FIU and said, I like how you approach your work, and I'm saving a job as our senior IT consultant whenever you're ready to start working after your master's. Once I started working, he took me under his wing and taught me everything he knew about information technology and managing clients, and just doing he taught me how to write really well, requests for proposals, etc. So again, there was someone who knew the way, showed me the way, and went the way with me for several years. So all along the way, I've encountered individuals at college, at work, who just helped me, like the picture shows, gave me a hand up and helped me to become successful in those things that I wanted to be successful in. I could go on and on, but I'll just give you those two for now. And I have one more that I'll mention later.
Yeah, but that's important, because what they did was, you were already on your journey. Now you may not have been doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but you were on your journey. And what they did was help you on your journey. They didn't try to put you on their own journey or have a view for your life. But they saw that you had a view for your life, and they were able to assist you in your path and on your journey.
Exactly. And Denzel Washington actually sums this up well. I've used this in several speeches I've done on mentorship. He says, show me a successful individual, and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences on his or her life. I don't care what it is they do for a living. If they do it well, I'm sure there was someone cheering them on and showing them the way.
Right.
A mentor.
That's good. And you said something earlier. You said that you had accidental mentors who you just talked about, and formal mentors. And what's important is that all of us, everybody who's watching, everybody who will listen, everybody who will even get a glimpse of this, even people who will never get a glimpse of this, you are a mentor to someone accidentally. You are influencing someone on their path accidentally, just by your existence in their life. And so what we are talking about, and what we will be doing through the Promise Foundation, of course, in our personal lives, we will accidentally mentor a lot of young people. We'll accidentally mentor some great young people who will go on and do awesome things. But what we're talking about is setting up the formal mentor.
Correct.
And that's a very important role.
So let me give you an example there. In Toastmasters, they're big on mentorship. And that's where I started to really appreciate the value of mentorship. They have a formal mentorship program. When you join Toastmasters, you sign up if you want to mentor, and there are people that are signed up to be mentors. We do a lot of public speaking. So one of my speeches, I think it was called The Perfect Avatar, was one where I talked about all the mentors I'd had in life, the accidental ones. And then I ended that speech with a call for someone to mentor me. And there were 3 Toastmasters who stepped up. And I was able to pick one of those mentors who then worked with me. And, I got to talk about the reciprocity of mentorship, because that relationship ended up with me mentoring her on some things where she was not experienced. And she always talks about it. We became distinguished Toastmasters together. That was never a goal of hers. But when she realized how driven I was and towards getting that accolade, she then started to work along the same path and asked me for tips on how to get there. So she was a formal mentor, one that I selected because I thought she and I would gel well together. And then we built all the bonds of trust that are needed. And we are mentor and mentee back and forth even today.
Of course. Yeah. And that's something that I've enjoyed too, is, I've mentored groups of young people in elementary settings, and groups of young people in church settings. I've one-on-one mentored young people who now are adults. And that's the beauty of it, is that as you mentor someone, you often, because once again, you're not trying to make them become something, you're just ushering them on their journey. They end up also ushering you on your journey. And that's the beauty of mentorship, is that not only are you giving, but you're also receiving. Because that's whenever you're planting a seed, it's always gonna cost you to also receive something from that planting. And so what you just described is amazing, of the give and the receive of mentorship, which is what makes it so fulfilling. You talked earlier too about how there are people who you've coached and you've mentored, who then you've seen them coaching other people or mentoring other people, and that's important too. That's the fulfilling piece. And so I want to switch gears for a quick second and get back to you. And the question that I wanted to ask, I know you and we talked about this before, and you're going to hear it when I say it. What mindsets did you have to overcome to become who you are today? What mindsets? And so you could dive into the mind reach, all of those things. But what mindsets did you have to overcome to become who you are today?
Like President Obama, as a kid, I was very unhappy with my ears. They were too big for my face. And I got to tell you that wearing masks now during COVID is not helping it, because they're being pulled away again. And I'm going to have to overcome that mindset about not being having nice ears very soon again. But seriously,
well, you've grown into your ears. You have awesome ears.
I did.
Don't worry about
I did. That. And hopefully the mask will make them obvious again. Anyway, I transitioned from being what I would call a shy perfectionist to a fairly confident speaker, and what I would call someone who is bent on changing the world, a change agent. My dad was responsible for making me a perfectionist. If I got an A, he wanted an A+. And I think that was ingrained in me all the way through maybe 5 years ago. I mentioned the Toastmaster that I selected as my mentor for on my third speech or whatever. And she Maritza Coscarelli, yeah, I'll give her the credit here. She actually cured me from that ingrained perfectionism and taught me, she moved me from perfectionist to pragmatist, just enough to be good. And that has accelerated my growth and success by leaps and bounds. That is the one thing that I think may have held me back. As many accomplishments and successes as I had, I still went for this whole perfection thing and often was really hard on myself. And now I am more confident because she was able to get me past this need to be perfect all the time, including my ears, of course.
Yeah. So you had, growing up, your dad created it in you a mindset, and your mind was set. It was locked in. It was focused on being a perfectionist. And then you meet your mentor, and your mentor is able to give you a reset. Was
Yes,
able to help you to take your mind and understand that it doesn't have to be locked in. It can become a pragmatist. It can understand. It can gain more leeway to become, versus trying to lock into a perfectionist bubble or box.
correct.
So that's awesome. And so you've actually created a business called Mind Reset.
That's
Um,
correct. I didn't realize I could
let's
promo here.
now let's dive in. We're diving. We're diving. We want to see people be free to become who they are, and
So,
all of us are free to become who we are. So I want us to dig a little bit. Let's go.
so funny enough, as much as we're talking about mentorship, Mind Reset is more about coaching. It's more about life
That's
coaching. It's more about life coaching. And it happened right after I'd completed the John Maxwell program. I recognized that people get set in a
mhm.
specific mind frame or a way of doing things. And a lot of times outside factors will change, external factors will change, and we really need to reset our minds and
Yeah.
to be successful, to continue to be successful. We got to reset our minds
Mhm.
and do things a little bit differently. They call it right now, it's called pivot. Everybody's saying COVID has made us pivot. We got to pivot,
Pivot. Yeah.
change our mindset, and do things a little
Yep.
differently to continue to be successful. So Mind Reset helps people with their health and fitness, with their professional goals, and well, basically any goal that they have. I will work with you to find out where you want to get to and help you with the steps to get there.
Yeah.
So at times I
Yeah.
realize that there are people that need a different strategy, and that's where sometimes they get a mentor instead of a coach. Because if
Right.
someone's already on the way and they really know how to get there already, it's just to be there with them and
Yeah.
give them
And
the
to
reassurance
help
that
them
they're doing
realize it.
things correctly.
Mhm. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah, man. We're all we're all on this journey called life, and life has been here um, longer than all of us. One thing that I've heard Tony Robbins say a lot is that um, uh, the mind has been here longer than all of us. And oftentimes we claim the mind as our mind, but the mind has been here since the existence, since the beginning. And so it's important that we not get set. It's important that we don't lock ourselves into thinking one way, especially if we're especially once we realize that we are set here to mentor young people, either accidentally or formally. Because what that does is that then we start pouring on those same bad habits that we've had, those mindsets, those locks that we've had, and we start putting that on the people who we're mentoring or that we're coaching or that we're life coaching. And so one one of the things that I know is very important for a mentor to have, for a coach to have, are life principles, because those life principles help to um, help to shape who you are, which then also helps to shape how you are to other people. And so I know that, I've got 7 life principles that I hold as my pillars of life. But what would you say would be one of your life principles that drives you as you mentor people, as you're helping to get them to their next level of life?
I think in life, whether it's a mentee, a mentor, or anyone, and it's going to sound like two, but it isn't. For me, it's equality and respect for my fellow man and woman. We need more acceptance of others, and we need to focus on relationships and learning with and from each other. With that approach, I think we can inspire people to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more, if you will. So, as a mentor, if you exude that respect and you make your mentee feel equal, I think that's where the trust starts to be built. And trust is the key to a good mentoring relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And as
my
we're,
principle, equality and respect.
equality and respect, and that's important, because what we're doing through the Promise Foundation International is we're going to be mentoring young people from all over. I know we're starting out with Jamaica and Barbados and Belize, Trinidad, and some young people here. Um, but what that's going to take mentors who understand humanity, and they're not looking down at a young person because of where they come from, but they see them as a human. They see them as a person of promise. And as a mentor, that's how we're supposed to look at young people, no matter where they come from, is to see them as a person with promise, equal, seeing them with the same humanity that we want to be seen with. And so that's important. That's an awesome life principle that we are looking for as a quality in mentors here at the Promise Foundation International. And if you are out there, if you're listening, if you're watching, and you would like to be a mentor with the Promise Foundation International, we are looking for mentors. Linda's going to be leading up a training for mentors here in the next few weeks or so, and so we want to make sure that we're reaching out, that we're getting some great people who, like Linda and like myself, understand the power of mentorship, understand the power of impacting a life, impacting another human, so that they can be their best self in the future. All right, so we're gonna start wrapping this up, but I've got a big question. I always like to end these sessions with a big question, and I'm going to ask you Linda's big 3. If I could make you a banner, that's what it would say: Linda's big 3. And here's the question: if you were to die tomorrow, what are 3 truths that you would want to share with the people who are around you, who are closest to you? Your big 3. You know that tomorrow is it. What are
Please don't. Please don't.
3 truths? It won't be.
I
You're
will,
gonna live forever.
I will live tomorrow, but these will still be the big three. Whether I'm not going to say
Yes,
whether I
these
die
will
or
still
live.
be
When
the
I
big
live
truths.
tomorrow, these are the big three.
Yes.
And forgive me
What
for
do you want
sounding,
people to know?
forgive me for
Yeah, go
sounding
ahead.
cliche, if you will. It's going to be probably more than three because remember, I got a lot of stuff going on, but it's if it sounds cliche, I say live, laugh, and love. Life is not all that
Yeah.
serious. So you should live it and laugh at yourself. Laugh every single day. Love yourself and your family and friends because life is not promised. If you didn't know
Yeah.
that before COVID, I'm sure you know it now.
Oh, goodness.
We all make the other thing that I want to say that I would want on that banner is that we all make mistakes, but we have the
Mm-hmm.
power to forgive, and forgiveness reduces stress. It dissolves resentment, and you got to forgive yourself and also forgive others. Finally, though, you also have to show
Yeah.
gratitude. I always have, and I
Right.
don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It says thankful.
Nice.
This little tile sits. I have like three of them. There's one in my office at work, there's one in my office at home, and there's one in my bedroom. And I think the big thing with me is showing gratitude. That started later in life for me. You know, you always want all these different things. So as a mentor, I share that we need to be thankful in all things. And if we really take a
Mm-hmm.
look at our lives and look outside, you'll realize how lucky we all are. Even during COVID, be thankful
Yeah.
because it could be, there could be other things that would be worse. So there you have it, my banner.
100%. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda. Once again, I want to invite you who are listening, you who are watching, to go to thepromiseinspired.org and donate. What that does is that what the Promise Foundation International is doing is we are not only doing mentoring, which is a major piece of our puzzle, but we're also providing young people in those countries that we listed: Belize, Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago, and here in the States, we're providing scholarships for young people of promise who maybe they come from struggling socioeconomic backgrounds, but they have they're inspired to become something great. They're inspired to reach new heights in academia, and so we want to make sure that finances aren't always the wall that keeps them out. And so we need your help. We need your help. We're raising $20,000 here in this year, and we need your help. Whether you can give $10, $25, $200, or the entire $20,000, we need your help. And our goal is $20,000 by August, September of 2021. And so we know that the young people would be grateful. And I know that we will be grateful by your gift, by your seed that will be planted in the lives of young people who will change our world. Thank you, Linda, again for your inspiration of life. And if you are a mentor, if you're listening, if you're watching, and you say, you know what, I want to mentor a young person. We're not looking for you to travel and do all those big things. Just spending time encouraging a young person is what a Promise Foundation mentor would be. And so we want to invite you to be a Promise Foundation mentor. If that's you, you can DM us here. You can message us here on Facebook, or you can email us at thepromiseinspired@gmail.com. God bless you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you again, Linda, for sharing your wisdom and sharing yourself. Because sharing yourself is the most important thing that we can do with our lives. And I believe it. and I see it and I've lived it. So God bless you. We will see y'all when we see you. Peace.
Thank you for having me.